What's up? What's up? What is up? It's another Friday, which means it's another opportunity to get together and record the experience known as the Ball Hog Sports Talk. If you have never been a part of this experience, be prepared for the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. Two businessmen get together and discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. We do it one way and one way only. That's rough, rugged, and raw. Today's episode is going by the title of Raining Cats and Dogs. You don't want to miss this one. You do not want to miss this one. This is the week of cats and dogs. We have our resident Haitian expert in the building going to impart wisdom on us. We are going to talk sports. We're going to talk business. We're going to talk entertainment. And we're going to do it rough, rugged, and raw. So, boys and girls, cats and rats, dogs and frogs, fasten your seatbelt. Make sure that you pour you a nice tall cup of coffee. Spike it with whatever you want, because the experience that is known as the Ball Hog Sports Talk is coming to you. So let's go. Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke, because this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go, 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 go. Once again, it's on. Once again, it's on. I am honored and pleased to be in front of this microphone for another episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk. With me for this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs of the Ball Hog Sports Talk series of episodes, we have none other than from the Middle Coast, the man, the myth, the legend, thou who shall be intergalactically known and respected as. And when you say it with your chest. Make sure that you're making eye contact, because he's been known to backhand people. He is the Big Flow Show. What's up,
What's good, y'all? What's good, America? I'd be remiss if I didn't take this time to announce my new business venture.
Which is?
It's going to be the Pet Sitting and Barbecue Emporium. Starting out, I just want everybody to know your pets are safe. No pets will be harmed.
The barbecue component of it is on the back
end. Barbecue Emporium is just a coincidence.
We just happen to have the two businesses together.
We evaluate the animals. If they're worthy of life, then we keep them. If not, we try to make it painless and make sure that you ain't got to deal with it. But don't make any leaps and think that just because we're pet sitting that we're also putting them in the barbecue, because that's not true. That's not going to be true.
That's not true.
No.
That's not true.
So I was thinking about wearing this sweatshirt and going door to door and asking anybody if they have in the neighborhood if they need their pets watched.
But it has to say "I am Haitian" on the front of it. It has to be so clear.
I want it to be so clear.
But there it is. All right, you got the Haitian flag.
I got my Haitian flag, and I want to walk up and just be like, "Hey, do you guys need any pets?" And see the look on their face. But I don't like to get too political too much on our show, but that was amazing.
We're gonna before you don't get there too quick, because we want to make sure everyone stays tuned. We will play the audio, the audio visual of a presidential candidate, the nominee for the Republican Party, the GOP nominee, Mr. Former President Donald Trump, and that statement about the aliens and what has now been also interpreted as the immigrants, Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio. We're going to get to that. A lot of good football played this week. There are amazing overlaps between sports, business, and entertainment this week. So we'll get there. And you know how we do it with our title. We don't just throw it out there. It means something to us. Raining cats and dogs normally means it's this English idiom that talks about the weather. When it's raining cats and dogs, you know it's pouring outside. We used raining, meaning like to reign, to be atop of something, to be in a position of.
Wake up, wake up.
Sometimes you want to just.
In case you didn't know what you were watching. Sometimes you don't know what you're watching.
Sometimes you don't know what you're watching. And my fingers are all messed up. Apologies. We use raining to talk about the official position being held. And cats and dogs, because of that presidential debate, our pets are the reigning MVPs of this week when it comes to sports, business, entertainment. But we got there in a really interesting way. I'll do it a disservice if I try to give an overview of it. So just going to show it. We have the Big Flow Show in the building. I'm your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, aka the Ball Hawk, aka the Mouth of the South, aka Mr. Sexual, aka Breezy, aka the Councilman. All of those things. I'm the person that's going to play this video, and the best way to do it is just show it, right? Like anything else would be uncivilized. We just got to show it and cross.
Even showing it might be uncivilized, but that's just a matter of
very well might be. Let's listen in.
A stunning moment from the debate stage going viral.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats.
Former President Trump spreading unfounded claims that members of the growing Haitian population in Springfield, Ohio, are eating animals. City officials say there's no evidence of that. Mr. Trump's baseless allegations setting off a social media firestorm.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Overnight, Ohio's Republican governor saying there's no evidence of the claims.
This is something that came up on the internet, and the internet can be quite crazy sometimes.
Haitian immigrants here shocked and hurt.
Nous vivons dans Springfield, nous contribuons.
This man, too frightened to show his face or use his name, says coworkers at his construction job have repeatedly asked him if he eats cats. VLS Dorseville, who runs a community center for Haitians.
I gotta stop there, and because it says the Haitian members of that community are offended, I wanted to make sure that I asked my resident Haitian American brethren for the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. You are everything and anything from the Haitian American view here at the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. We always go to you. You claim everybody as Haitian. So when you hear this presented in the latest presidential debate, you understand the implications of being described as a community that eats pets. You think what? Are you offended when you hear this?
Can you honestly say you've never eaten one of your neighbor's pets? I mean, honestly. Like, really. Like, look the camera in the eye and say, I've never eaten a gerbil or a bird, a parakeet. Never. I don't think many of us can claim
I shall not
that.
confirm or deny.
I mean, sometimes, you got to do people a favor. Their pets are on their last leg.
Yeah,
and
so it's definitely more humane than some of the other ways.
Just put them to sleep and cremate them.
Right.
At least pray over them and make a meal out of them. You know what I'm saying? Put them in the pressure cooker. But yeah, you know what? I'm not even offended, to be honest with you. It's just so stupid to me. And I feel like it was more damaging to him than it was to us. Yeah, everybody who really is worried about me when they walk down the street with my Haitian flag from now on, that their pet's going to be hurt, they didn't like me anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, nobody's like, oh my God. All those people who believe that, the Trumpers that believe that that's really going on and that's what's happening, they believed it anyway. They believe everything that he says. And you know what? They're not coming over the border. So, I mean, if you do a little research, there's a large population. First of all, I live in Chicago. And every day I see a commercial from Ohio asking people to move to Ohio. Right. So the population of Ohio is down. So the factories in Ohio are having open jobs. They can't open them up. So the reason why Haitians are moving there, in northern Florida, there's a big exchange. I kind of switched topics, but there's a big exchange with Jamaica. So if you go down, there's a large contingent of Jamaican workers that they bring in. because they were having a hard time finding people to find jobs. Just a few years ago, remember, I mean, if you look at just about every sign, every store you go to, there's no one to fill the jobs. It was the Great Resignation. People weren't taking jobs. So now you've got this group of people that are here legally, right? Because there is no, there's no Mexican border wall that you can build to stop Haitian people. They got to mostly get here by plane, right? They're being sent for, and there's different programs that bring them in, and they've interviewed the different companies that say, hey, I've got this shift of workers that are most of my workforce now, they're Haitian, and they work longer hours. They don't have any complaints. He's like, I wish I had more people to hire. So, I mean, and
it sounds like Springfield, Ohio has been a destination for the reasons that you articulate.
It's not the way that you, from what I see, it's not what you thought. And I'll be honest, I got trapped in this too. It's not like a bus opens the door, they open it up, and a bunch of Haitian people are jumping off the boat or jumping off the bus, and then just the bus takes off, and it's all these. No, these are people that are moving there, and there are some local residents that have issues with it. With everything, there's going to be growing pains, and there's, they're always going to point to the car accident. Now, there's car accidents all the time. People happen. So yes, this unfortunately, a Haitian man was the cause of a
homicide with a school bus and a kid.
And the kid who died, his parents are mad that they're using this for politics. So they're saying, hey, it's an accident. Things happen. They're not over it, obviously, but they don't want this to be. They don't want their kid to be the face of it. And frankly, the people on the right they don't give a damn about that kid. They couldn't tell you his name or whatever. It's just a talking point as far as I'm concerned. So my thing is, it's so ridiculous that I'm not offended. It's so ridiculous I'm not offended. I've gotten some real funny memes this week. I've learned how to make cat tacos. I've seen all kinds of different things like that.
I know you. All right, so you're not offended. You're not offended. But I'll say this, because growing up in South Florida, where during that time, in the 80s, there was also a large uptick in influx of Haitian Americans moving to South Florida. That has grown even more since my days of being in South Florida. But it was sort of taboo to be Haitian. Like, bullying now is a thing, but back then, if I look upon how, if you had a French name or you had an accent and you spoke Creole, the whole Haitian community was a bit ostracized in South Florida, right? They were mistreated. They were the rumor.
They used to call us African booty scratchers when I was a kid.
Things like that, right? But there are these kids that have to go to school and stomach these crazy rumors like you eat cats and dogs. And I think that's the irresponsibility of it to me is, for adults, you can laugh, right? But reflect upon when you were a student in grade school that now has to go to school, and you have heard in a presidential debate that Haitians apparently eat pets.
Well, let me stop right there. Haiti is the either the first or second poorest country in the world, definitely the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. If you were a cat walking down the street in Haiti and you weren't watching your six, somebody might fix you. Somebody might prepare you. But I tell you what, everyone has standards when they have choices, right? But when you're in a poor country and things like happen, people probably will eat a wild bird. Like, when we see the ducks on the pond and nobody touches them. In Haiti, that dude better keep his head on a swivel. Things may happen. But in this country where you can go get food and do whatever, that's not their preference,
Right.
People always try to say that the Chinese restaurants, are serving dog meat.
Are you eating chicken or are you eating something else?
Yeah, and there's been documented cases of finding animal carcasses in Chinese restaurants around the country. But my point is, we probably all still eat Chinese food because we realize that those are very extreme cases, and those are things that have happened before.
Right.
But again,
you weren't offended.
I'm not offended. I it's just more ignorance from a person who shows ignorance a lot. But the people who are in Springfield, 20,000 people didn't just walk into Springfield and show up without it. The way the immigration typically works, and when you get a collection, I grew up in Evanston, Illinois. We had a humongous Caribbean population in Evanston, Illinois, and the question people is like, how did this happen? Right. I had someone ask me, there's a lot of Jamaican girls that were on the track team. They used to win state all the time. And I had a coach ask me from out here where I live now in Naperville, say, how did that happen? And what happened
there's a strong Jamaican.
There's a strong
Jamaican,
and we would win state, and they would kill. These girls were legendary. East St. Louis, which is where Jackie Jonah Kersey went, is the only school that would beat us in state, and we would go back and forth with them. Our girls were fantastic. And so the coach from my son's high school said, I always wonder what that was, because you think Evanston's North Shore, like it's a rich area, whatever. What happened? But when you immigrate, you find somebody who goes first. There's always going to be that first person that goes into a country or goes into a city or does whatever. Mm-hmm. Typically, it's going to be something that you kind of have heard of in a different country. Or somehow they get there. They find a void and an opportunity. So right now, again, like I said, Ohio's
factories in Ohio.
Everyone's begging for people to move to Ohio. They're actually paying for advertising space during football games. Come to Ohio. Right. So there's a void for workers. And then they fill the void, and then the rumor happens that, hey, you can come here. They're not treating you bad. There's jobs and do whatever.
You can make a living for your family. Absolutely.
Yeah. People are not really coming. Contrary to belief, the overwhelming majority of immigrants that are coming to this country from wherever the hell they're coming from are not coming to this country just to get this free aid and do whatever. They're coming here to work. Right. Like they're coming here to get education for their kids. You just don't have any idea. And again, we don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole with the whole border.
Yeah.
But my point is, let's not think that people are Americans are lazy, right? The countries that the immigrants come from are not lazy people. No. Americans are full of lazy people. Right. These people can't wait to work 3, 4, 5 jobs. They can't believe there's that many jobs. When you're in Haiti, you can't get a job. So they can come here and work 15-hour days. They don't have the programming that we have, the 8 hours that we should rest and then 2 days off on the weekend. They don't think like that. So this whole narrative of hating the immigrants and thinking they're all criminals or whatever, way less criminals than we are here. They're not opening the jails and sending it out, whatever. But I
probably coming from countries that have a lot stricter
way
approach to guns.
And punishment to do whatever. But people are coming here to work and send money back to the country because they're not bringing their whole family. Yeah. They're not coming here. They're taking the aid. Everyone's going to take the aid that you give to, but that's not why they're coming here. They're coming here to get a job.
2 quick questions. All right. And it looked like, I won't even put you on, I'm not even going to ask you that first question. Whoever decided to allow the former president, Donald J. Trump, to get up there and debate that lady should be fired. I mean, it was just, they say fights are made on style. Like just the optics of it were horrible. He never made eye contact. She is a trial attorney. She's a litigator.
Yeah, she destroyed that dude, man.
Destroyed him. All right. So I won't ask you that question. But I will ask you the next question. Cats or dogs, man? Because it says something about personality. Are you a cat man or a dog man? In this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs, the MVP of the week in sports, business, and entertainment are our household pets. I need to know, and I'm asking everyone who is listening live. First, we appreciate you. Second, please like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone you know. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. And third, answer, are you a cat person or a dog person? Because it says something about you. Listen, you're a dog person.
I'm a dog person. I believe cats are food. I think cats are food. I don't understand this affiliate with people petting cats. I think they're food. I'm a dog person, even though my dog won't come to me right now.
See, that's what cat people say. They're more sophisticated, cerebral. Cats are more. Your dog is just a dummy to answer to his name. He only comes when he wants food. Cats are more complicated.
Cats will always be food to me. They're not. They're not pets. So if your cat's missing and you see me in the neighborhood, I'm a suspect.
Hey, especially if you're wearing the Haitian flag across your chest like that.
This is when I go to cat eating mode. I put on my Haitian colors and I can just feel it. My stomach is rumbling right now, boy.
Oh man. A cat person who has stepped into the world of politics. Drum roll, please.
Hold on.
And did so in a way that I thought was an amazing entrance into politics. For those who don't know who that is, if you've lived under a rock for the last 12 to 15 years.
Miss Longback Short Crack.
That is Travis Kelce's girlfriend, a.k.a. Taylor Swift, has topped into the political realm. She's endorsed Kamala Harris for president, but by doing so, she talked about how she got to this point and then signed off childless cat lady because for some reason Donald Trump has
Vance really
described his opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, as a childless cat lady, alienating more people, but now alienating the Swifties. I told you we're going to talk sports, business, entertainment. The Swiftie moved the needle because when Swifties, when that whole community decided to become Kansas City fans because of her relationship with Travis Kelce, there was an amazing uptick in sales and merchandise sales for Kansas City. There was a tremendous uptick in viewership in Kansas City games. It was considered the Taylor Swift Super Bowl, although she didn't perform. Will she have the same impact on this November election? Do the Swifties tilt the pendulum in favor of Vice President Kamala Harris to win the election? What say you?
I'm just going to give you a little story. My wife's been married to me 22 years now, right? I think we've been together probably about 25 years.
I hate to hear that for her, but I got you.
I know. Hey, everyone pray for her. 25 years she's been around me, right? So we're about a year away from half my life, right?
Right.
And I've been showing her games, doing stuff about games, playing football. You know how I am. Football is me. This is my identity. Coaching my son. Our son plays college, everything, right? My wife still doesn't really know a lot about football. But ever since Taylor Swift has been around, she knows more about the Kelce brothers than I do. She could tell you anything about them, where they went to school, what they like to eat. I'm not joking. She knows more about the Kelce brothers. I forget the other one. Jason. I forget his name
just
sometimes.
recently retired.
Yeah, she knows all about that. She knows where he's at. She knows he was at the Olympics. She knows everything there is to know. So Trump, you might should have tried to get her back because my wife was going to vote anyway. But there are a lot of people. You know, it's not about making a decision. It's motivation to vote.
To get out and vote. More people will vote.
She got Oprah out there. We all know the chokehold Oprah had on Housewives. Now you have this lady who everyone is revered, the childish cat lady who's doing whatever. Some people probably don't even understand what's going on in the insult because they don't pay attention to politics, but now they do. This is a huge endorsement because, you know, again, and
this cat is immediately famous. In this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs, the cats and dogs are pets of the world, the MVPs. Yeah. This cat is famous now because of this picture and endorsement.
I bet you if I put that cat on my smoker for about 2 hours. Okay, hold on. Let's relax.
That cat probably has more followers than both of us.
Yeah, it probably does. But my point is these type of endorsements aren't about switching people's minds. It's about motivating people to go out and vote. And when you have Taylor Swift, let me say this. I wish Taylor Swift would endorse our podcast. I know that.
We both.
I know
if
that.
Anybody knows Taylor Swift, just tell her to say Ball Hog Sports Talk.
Yeah, we like the childish cat ladies right here. We like childish cat ladies and stuff like that. I won't eat your cat. But hold on. But pause. But you know what I'm saying? We like childish cat ladies on the Ball Hog Sports Talk. We do not discriminate against anybody, whether you've had children or whether you're a dog or cat person. So I think it's a huge endorsement, and I think he should be very afraid. But he says he's more of a he's more of a fan of Mahomes' wife, even though he doesn't know Brittany Mahomes' name. He's always more of a fan of her and her top album, whatever she has that you could be a fan of. But big lies. Anyway, that's too much politics for one show.
Yeah, that's it. And while also making sure there's no politics in the show. The other cat that we got to get to in this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs is the cheetah. The cheetah was front and center in this week, and I thought that this topic would make it to the presidential debate. It did not. But the cheetah, also known as Tyreek Hill, also known as well-paid wide receiver, one of the highest paid in the business right now, got pulled over right around the corner, literally pulling up to the stadium, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. what seemed to be a routine traffic stop turned into an all-out crazy, bizarre exchange between the Miami County Police and the cheetah. I'll just ask you straight up. We've all seen the video. There's no need to show it. Tyreek Hill's taking some ownership, said he could have been better. They're in all of our group chats. We've got respective group chats. There have been, debates about whether or not Tyreek Hill was wrong. He was very flippant, like, hey, man, you ain't got to knock on my window like that. We didn't see that part, so we don't know how aggressive the knock was. He then hands over the credentials and then essentially tries to put his window up and presumably call his agent because the agent was on the phone. He was saying, hey, Drew. That's Drew Rosenhaus in the video. For you guys who have not seen it, go look it up. But when he rolls the window up, the guy says, hey, man, first, why don't you have your seatbelt on? And he tells him to keep the window down. And then before you can blink, Tyreek Hill is asked to get out of the car. He is put down on the pavement. He is then moved to the sidewalk. There seems to be backup out of the wazoo. His teammates come and try to help. That teammate, which I think is Calais Campbell, it goes from 0 to 60 with him as well. What do you think when you see that? Because now, last week we talked about the prospects of Colin Kaepernick being back in the NFL, and we've talked about Colin indirectly, but the entire protest of him kneeling throughout the national anthem started because of the treatment of Black and brown people when it comes to our police interactions. So the irony of the cheetah being literally right outside the stadium, right around the corner from Hard Rock Stadium, where he's about to go play a game and eventually gets released and plays in that game, chooses a touchdown celebration of him being in handcuffs. I don't know if I would have advised that. After he scores a touchdown, he mocks being in handcuffs after an 80-yard touchdown. You see that and you think what?
A couple things. First, foremost, and you do what you want to do. Stand up for your rights and do whatever. I think of a time when my dad told me when we were driving, when I tried to move at a four-way stop before somebody else came into a complete stop, and I told my dad, he said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I had the right of way." And he said, "There's a lot of people in heaven that had the right of way," right? And that's one of the lessons my father's taught me that's always stuck with me when I see a car where the signal is going to turn and where I theoretically I should be able to pull out, but this might not end well for me if I do, right?
And just to present the other side, a lot of people in hell that had it right away too. Just,
a lot of people in hell.
The other view of it. Go ahead.
Yeah. But my dad was I was 16 at this point. My dad was giving me a little bit of benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
I hadn't done that much yet, so it might be a little different story now at 51. He might have a little something to say. But my point in this whole matter is that if you want to stand up for yourself and you want to stand up for your rights and you want to do that, that's fine, right? Mm-hmm. I teach mine. Just go ahead and just be the victim as far as if the dude's going to talk crazy and do whatever, because the bottom line is you have somebody who has a firearm on their hand who can make a decision, a human being who can make a decision to end your life at a moment's notice, and good chance they're going to get away with it if they do, right? So at my size, everybody can say they were scared, right? At my size, you can do whatever. So I comply. And if they're dickheads, they're just dickheads, right? I know that they're soft. Deep down inside, these dudes are soft people. They're trying to feel tough and do whatever. But on the flip side of that too, I do understand from the policeman's standpoint, the most dangerous time of their day is when they walk up on a car and they pull a car over. So he had a tinted window. He cracked his window. Where it got out of hand for me, and I only watched it once, but I do believe when they ordered him out of the car that he was getting out of the car. I do believe
immediately that. With no hesitation.
Yeah.
He said, "Okay, no problem."
And he started to get out of the car, and then they attacked him. Thought that was unnecessary.
Grabbed him by the head and violently. That police officer has been put on administrative leave.
Yeah.
They said the aggressor. I'm assuming that's the one. He seemed to be the most aggressive.
He wanted smoke. with everybody. He went him down. He wouldn't try to go tap the other
Danny
person.
Torres is his name. He's on administrative duty, not on administrative leave. He's on administrative duty, which means he's not on the street. 27-year veteran of the department. And go ahead. I just wanted to make sure I.
So, but let me say this: had I been Tyreek Hill, I would have rolled my window all the way down and kept it down. When I get pulled over, I roll down all the windows. The back windows.
Let me interject. I'm gonna keep on interjecting to give people the background. He is now not only owned and said he could have been better, but he said in terms of the window, he's like, man, people are passing by with their cameras. I didn't need that before the game. It was becoming more of a distraction. So I rolled my window up because people were.
And he didn't roll it all the way up. He rolled it. There was still a crack. He still had it a crack. You could still talk to him,
but not defending it, but explaining.
Not defending,
how
but it wasn't that he was from. Again, I only watched it once, so if I'm wrong on some of the details, I apologize. I saw at least enough to get your hand through in a crack, and the guys keep threatening to bust the window. And I think that's where, again, I have to respect the. I don't do that job. It's a tough job you got to do. So you have to be an assertive person. I think the escalation is the part of it that kind of went, because you get to the point where you have your window cracked down and someone's like, if you don't take it down, I'm going to bust your window. I'm going to do whatever. Like, we don't, we're alpha males, right? We don't really, threats don't just work well with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we start threatening me.
And here's, you just said it. We're alpha males, meaning we being now former, but there's some athletic bones still in our body.
To touch my toes,
mentality. Right.
Yeah. So
but also the cops are alpha males. So in this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs, there's a divided line there that was clearly on both sides. Both sides felt like they were being infringed upon on their alpha male-ness.
And one side is paid to make sure their encounters with the public are as safe as possible and to protect the public as much as possible. The other side is somebody who probably hasn't been pulled over in a while. He was going 20 over the speed limit, so he was speeding. It wasn't reckless driving. It was careless driving, is what you said. You called it?
I think ultimately that's what they gave him. Careless driving.
I'd never heard of careless driving.
For not having a seatbelt.
I will say I've had 2 negative run-ins with the police that I can think of. Both happened in South Florida, where I've been pulled out of the car. And I'm serious. And I think South Florida cops are very aggressive compared to most cops. I think they're very escalatory. I was at the Pro Bowl. This is years ago, but I was at the Pro Bowl walking with mobs of people from where the parking was to get to the Pro Bowl, and there was a cop told everybody to stay on the sidewalk. But literally, imagine a crosswalk, and there's about 80 people there, right? So the guy who was already in the street, he just backed up so that his feet were basically against the curb because, he wasn't going to push the crowd back. The cop got in his face, an inch away from his face, and was like, I told you to get on the sidewalk. These are people going to a game. This isn't like a bunch of people who think they're tough, a bunch of young kids acting cool. This is somebody who's just trying to go to a Pro Bowl, right? Watch expensive ticket, hang out with his family. The cop was an inch away from his face, and I told you to back up. I told you to back up. And the guy was like, what's your problem? And he was like, what, you got something? They were going to beat the hell out of this dude, right? So these are 2 examples.
And Cheetah's asking him that whole time. Now he's using a current verbiage, but twin, what's wrong with you, twin? Man, he's knocking on the door like he's crazy. He's asking sort of like, what is wrong with you?
Why are we escalating? Why are you so upset? Right. And so my experience, I've been, and again, you live from South Florida, whatever. They're very aggressive, in your face. I want to smoke. I'll kill you. I should say kill. I don't use lightly, but I'll fight you. I'll beat you up. I'll do whatever type people. So you really have to bow. Where I grew up, cops didn't talk to you like that. Now we didn't talk.
But if that's the case, and here's where because I'm gonna keep on bringing bits and pieces from different conversations. Here's where I had a challenge when, amongst some of my Notre Dame brethren in a group chat, they were acknowledging the same things that you are. Like, my job is to get home safely. There's a lot of people who were right that are in heaven now, they're dead while being right, all of those things. If we know what it is, let's abide by the rules sort of approach to how we should engage and interact with cops. My response to them was, if getting pulled over while you are about to be late for work, which creates a normal agitation, if that is punishable by not death, but being taken out of your car and having a knee on your back, What are we are officially like signing up for a police state.
Mhm.
While those things are true, when does it stop if we keep allowing it to be true? Because 27-year veteran, that's the part that's throwing me off. That man has been on the force for 27 years.
Treating people like that the whole time and
The-
no smoke.
People who aren't driving a $300,000 car that happen to be right around the corner from a Hard Rock Stadium. People who don't have, passerbys taking out their phone because of their celebrity status. Imagine if the same interaction happened not at 11 a.m., but 11 p.m. And that it has to scare you to see that this police officer of 27 years, a veteran, Danny Torres, has absolutely zero amount of de-escalating power in his bones. He is throwing gas on the fire, and that's what I said in this exchange. Was like,
He was short too.
he was short too, but he's got the hand tattoo, he's got the backups, he's got all of these. I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's a gang. And oddly, Calais Campbell and other teammates that are now out seeing what is happening to their teammates in this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs, we're a gang too. We are trained to step up and support and protect our teammate.
Mhm.
And so I'm watching this episode of Cats and Dogs with these officers collectively, on average, being very hostile, taking zero sort of jump from the other side. In this case, the cheetah. We ain't taking nothing. And in my mind, I can't help but to think, in a few hours, this man is going to be on the field where that's celebrated. We ain't taking nothing from nobody. We sticking together. And so I understand the police officers and how they have to be unified. It's such a dangerous job. And you said, hey, it's not the job that I do, so I don't want to be overcritical. But you do a job that is tough to do. And if they hire somebody that is your peer from the West Coast to do your job, and they come in and they do a ratchet job, they're going to fire their ass. And that's the part where I look at the video, I'm like, for 27 years, no one has taught this man how to de-escalate a situation. So we either want to ignore the fact that the cheetah is a celebrity and treat it as a routine traffic stop, or acknowledge that him being the cheetah right around the corner from Hard Rock Stadium might be the lightning rod that gave Officer Torres even more gas to throw on the fire.
Well, I mean, you went to Notre Dame like I did. For every person who loved us when we played football, there was someone who hated us for playing football. Very few people can say that they just treat them like everybody else. You're either going to treat them better or you're going to treat them worse. It's almost really no way to do it, because you have a hard opinion each way. So there's so many people who still hate the athletes. They resent them and they do whatever. So they're going to sit there and do it. And whether it's an athlete or not, I've seen situations where there's just been rich people in Chicago sitting in their cars, and I see how the cops come and treat them and do whatever. And then I've seen how people treat the cops. So it goes both ways. There is a bit of, if you're a police officer and you pull up on and again, I've never done the job, so I'm just trying to give you my opinion. I don't want to try to sit there and act like I'm doing, like I know what the cop life is like. But yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of times you walk up to rich people and they look down their nose at you and treat you like a peasant, which is that you're gonna carry that. Here's this guy in this,
all the time in corporate
$350,000 car.
Almost every day in corporate America that's happened. I've had that experience.
Yeah. Here's a guy in a $350,000 car, and I'm telling him to do what I'm going to make him do what I want him to do, and he's not doing it. And
exactly, to the letter of the law with no deviation, because I want you to know who's
I'm in charge.
Cats and dogs.
You might have this $350,000 car, but right now, this 5'1", nothing to get short people. My dad's a short person, so I really love short people. But this 5'1" cop is in charge of you, and if you're not going to succumb, he showed a little restraint. He kept threatening to bust the window, and he never did bust the window. I thought he was going to do it, but then he came out the car, and he's like, "I got to grab you, and I got to show you, and I'm going to." relax. You know what I'm saying? Why are you getting so hyped? You're not going to just punk me like that. People are not going to just take getting punked. And I don't want to get punked by the police either. But, you know, again, I have a lot of reasons to live, and I don't trust any human being with a gun that I don't know to not shoot at me and do whatever, because there's just so many scary people. You don't know who you're dealing with. Every single cop that has shot and killed somebody in the wrong, I mean, they walked around with the same uniform on as the people who act right. I can't take the chance that I'm dealing with that person. So I'm going to go ahead and deal with whatever.
So is the problem, having said that, is the problem here that the cheater didn't abide by those rules? Or is
No,
the problem
he made a
that
choice.
we still got to have those rules?
I don't know what the law is.
Those rules are basically saying, those rules are saying, look, we're all going to have the talk with our kids. You've had yours already. Your son's 21 years old. I know you have had the talk with your kids. The talks, several talks about how to be docile, how to make sure that you acquiesce in them situations. We have to, because if not, that'd be parental, some sort of malpractice. As a parent, as a Black dad, how dare you not tell your children about this world that we live in? Cool. But does that mean it's the right way to go about it? The truth of the matter is, people with means, those with money, those who are driving the $350,000 cars, have been known to have a little more sass in their voice when interacting with the cops. He said, man, just write me my ticket and go about your way. Unless you are an imminent threat.
The law says, to be fair, the law says a driver is required to roll his window down in Florida for a traffic stop.
Fair. He rolled his window down.
Correct it. So this is saying you have to roll.
So the subjectivity in that is,
you're a lawyer, so you know more than me. So I get it.
Right. Roll your window down because you've got to give them the credentials. He gave the credentials and tried to roll his window back up. Now they're
saying in order to now I want to be fair to the police. The windows were black. You couldn't see them. So there is a risk that you could have a gun pointed at the cop.
Say that then. Say that. I need you to keep your window down because your windows are dark. You're like, all I'm saying is
again,
there's a two-way street.
To be fair, the law says you have to roll it down. Now you're saying that it's a semantics between whether it's all the way or cracked, what's considered rolled down. So I'll say that.
Yeah, that's easy. That's easy. If I'm representing Tyreek Hill, that's easy to overcome. How did you get the documents if we didn't roll the window down?
Yeah. So that's the situation. Now, and honestly, if you try to tell me he doesn't know who Tyreek Hill is and he's right by the stadium and he lives in Miami, are you really thinking Tyreek Hill is going to shoot you?
Tyreek never said I'm the cheater. And the crazy part is we look at people who are entitled and privileged, and some of those interactions are a million times worse than what Tyreek Hill did. A million times worse. And unfortunately, sometimes if you have the complexion for protection, there's a lot more tolerance. It was just a lack of tolerance there. I'm not saying Tyreek Hill was absolutely right. In fact, if I'm his relative, I'm saying, hey, bro, next time you get pulled over, just be docile. Just lay over and lay down and take all of the mistreatment that they're gonna give you. You can't tell them not to knock on your window like that. But the truth of the matter is, I don't own a $350,000 car that someone is beating on the window. I can understand where he would be upset.
So
because he said it repeatedly when Calais Campbell pulls up and asks what's going on. He's like, yo, twin, this dude is knocking on my window like he's crazy. That's the only thing we didn't see is him knocking on the window on the body cam, the view that I saw. But to repeat that in that moment while in handcuffs, when now describing the situation to your teammate, tells me that he genuinely had an issue with how the officer knocked on his window.
Now, I'll say this too to people. So I have a real problem with people touching my face, right? My wife can't get over it after.
I wish I was with you right now. I'm so mad. I'm not.
You might do it once, but it's a problem when I get my beard, my barber, when he's shaving my face and lining me up, he said, "Man, you don't say anything." I said, "You have no idea how hard it is for me not to get out this chair and beat the shit out of you for touching my face." And he thinks we laugh about it, but I honestly, it bothers me that much. I'm saying that because Cordell, don't do it. Cordell said he's gonna touch my face next week. Don't
Man,
do
touch
that.
that man's face.
Don't touch my face. But I didn't choose that. Like, it's not like I just decided it. You told me when you're arguing last week that you really have a hard time with somebody touching you, right?
I don't like to be touched.
You don't like to be touched. It
I've
bothers
been the
you.
smallest in my circles for so long that I interpret you're touching me as you trying to show me that you're bigger than me.
But the only reason why you do that is because when that's happening, it's in a state of you're heightened and it's whatever. I don't know if I have a phobia or whatever, but like for me, it bothers me. Howie Mandel, you can't shake his hand. I'm going through things. There's certain things that make you react that is hard to do. So in Cheetah's defense, like in a calm conversation, he's probably going to say, I'll just be calm. I'll do whatever. But when you get there and you're pulled over, it makes your adrenaline go up, right? You get your fight or flight starts to kind of tingle a little bit.
Absolutely.
When you get pulled over, you see those lights. Then they walk up and they start, and he's from the streets. You know what I mean? He's from an area where probably is a lot of police brutality. You know what I'm saying? Where's he? What part of Florida is he from?
No, I think Cheetah's from Alabama originally.
No, I'm
Don't quote
confusing
me
him.
on that.
Sorry, I'm confusing him with AB. What you call Antonio Brown?
Antonio Brown.
Yeah. So wherever, you don't know what history you have that goes into that's coming in there, but like sometimes people don't know how they're going to react to stressful situations. So I put the onus on the police officer because police officers every day deal with people who they have put into a stressful situation. So they should have training and realize, okay, some people are just going to comply. Some people get combative. Some people do whatever. People don't know what they're going to do when it happens because your emotions start to take over. I'm just glad this thing ended well and nothing bad happened. Cheetah wasn't assaulted in any way that he can't. I mean, he's a football player, so him touching the ground is humiliating and it's bad, but at least he's not injured. No one was shot. It's walk away and talk about it situation, not something where we had to mourn what happened. So I'm glad that it didn't go there and didn't seem like it was going to go there. But I think police officers have to realize when they're dealing with people that some people are going to be combative, some people are going to do whatever, and you have to be the even keel one because you're the one that's at work. You're the one that's trained to do that. You're the one that's trained to deal with crazy people. We saw the crazy lady got shot in the face because she, had a pot of water and she was doing whatever. I rebuke you and do whatever. Yeah. You are going to see a person who has a mental illness call. When you go to see the mental illness call, you have to be prepared for that. I don't know how to deal with crazy people, right? You don't have to do it. A police officer should know how to do it. And shooting them in the face should, matter of fact, when you know it's a mental health call, you shouldn't even have your pistol. You should have all non-lethal weapons, bean bags, and whatever, because you realize you've been there before. So this cop that pulled the Cheetah over has been there before and has dealt with that before and probably should handle it better. I'm glad that it ended in a way where everybody could walk away and talk about it. I'm not saying this dude should be fired or do whatever, maybe some retraining.
The Cheetah is saying he should be fired. He's saying he should be fired. He admitted that he could have handled it a little bit better, but then he also said this guy should be fired. 27-year veteran. All the things that you say is I think on point, but I think we are forced to accept and understand this behavior that is, in my humble opinion, so extreme. So extreme. Mm-hmm. You know a body cam is on. You know that there are onlookers because it's bright morning, 11 a.m. before a game. You know that people have their camera out because you understand what you're dealing with here. A celebrity person who just got pulled over right by the stadium. And yet, because of the protection that badge has been able to enjoy for so long, it doesn't change your behavior whatsoever. To me, I think these situations happen and we have to seize the moment and change what the culture is, or all we're doing is if we're going to victim blame and say it's, in my humble opinion, it's Cheetah's fault because he had the nerve to be human, to be upset in that moment that he got pulled over. He had the nerve to be rich. And he had, don't sass me, boy. He had the nerve to sass the cops. in a world that through the First Amendment
It was
gives
a
us
short
freedom
cop,
of
though. I'm
speech.
telling you, don't mess with them short cops. I'm telling you.
If we are going to
Don't
say
mess with
that
that
this
short
is
cop.
largely the Cheetah's fault, and he
Cheetah
should
might have
be
even been
fired,
taller than him, and Cheetah short.
we're signing up for more behavior. We're basically endorsing this behavior. In this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs, you've got to decide. Are you going to change the behavior of these police officers? Are they forever going to be rabid, aggressive, fighting dogs that are allowed to go out there and attack no matter what? Because if so, then just let me know and I'll take my chances with a high-speed chase. I want to get to a place where they're safer. I'm safer. I'm around people that, Cheetah probably would have just drove to his agent house. He's like, call Drew. Now just drive to Drew house. Let them arrest me here. Because anything else, right, puts you in a situation where your life literally could be in danger because you had the nerve to exercise your freedom of speech. Did he like what the Cheetah was saying to him? No. But does that give you the license to now grab a man by the back of his head to rip him out of the car when he's already complying with your order? Does that give you the license when upon the first time being asked to sit down on the sidewalk, he looks to the officer who is behind him and says, explains to him what's about to happen. Officer, not so friendly, Mr. Torres, comes in, is like, knocks him down to the ground. What? You didn't even get two commands. You're so aggressive that Calais Campbell, who is hands up on the phone, just obviously trying to help his teammate out, who keeps trying to retreat and then says, all right, I'm going to leave. The officer told me to leave. No, you're dealing with me now. Give me your license. What we saw on full display is the bravado that so many fans complain about when it comes to these athletes, that we're sick and tired of as a fan base, of these athletes thinking they're above the law. Well, how about the law being above the law?
Mm-hmm.
And as Americans, if we keep on signing up for this by not calling a spade and by not taking corrective actions when we see it in full display, if the Cheetah's worst thing was saying something that wasn't necessarily accepted by the police, and that fact that the fact that he was a little ornery about being pulled over and sassy and how he communicated with the police, if we're saying that action warrants the reaction that we saw, then we have given this police force in America the license to basically run a police state.
Yeah. I think I've seen so many videos of police officers that have amazing patience and sit there and listen to people just run their mouth and say whatever, and the police officer remains calm as hell the whole time and does whatever, and still ends with the same outcome that they wanted. This guy tried to get, which was the persistence of controlling the situation, whatever. And I think that we don't celebrate those guys enough. You know what I mean?
I want to celebrate them, but I need those guys
Mhm.
to be just as mad as I am that this happens. I need those guys to call for Officer Torres's head, just like the Cheetah, because that's the only way you can now separate the two.
So one thing, one of my cop friends told me is when after that guy shot that lady in the face over the water, he said 18 cops are going to lose their life because he did that. And I was like, what are you talking about? He said there's going to be 18 cops around the country in the near future that are going to get killed by people because they're mad about that. And the next week, a cop got shot or something. I can't remember what it was, but I sent it to him, and it was a story basically about somebody hitting a cop. I'm like, damn, you're right. And that's the reason. That's the risk you run. You get these goofy ass cops like that just go too far. And again, luckily nobody was all the way hurt. But now you have people who are more and more upset with the police officer, more and more mad with the cops, and somebody's gonna do something to him or somebody else because of that treatment, because they get tired of seeing it, they get tired of hearing it. So
Elevated
again,
emotion, man.
I'm glad it worked out and no one died. And Cheetah probably should have rolled his window down, but whatever. At the end of the day, he's gonna pay his little $300 fine with whatever he has in his shoe. And then this cop, he's been there 27 years. He's not going no place.
I hope the Cheetah takes this moment and he acknowledged it after the game, the platform that he has, and I hope he uses the influence to really affect change. Because my Notre Dame brothers who I was going back and forth with, I heard them loud and clear because they were speaking as dads to understand that this is the world that we live in and we're not going to change it. But if we keep accepting that this is the world that we live in and we're not going to change it, then in fact, we're never going to change it.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's not right. It's just not right that a little bit of back talk ends in that. Right? It's just not right. So, and to come full circle, the same NFL that was dealing with the backlash from Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, motivated by what he said, black and brown people being on the wrong end of very aggressive police behavior. The irony of how full circle that is just amazing. So I hope the NFL, the Miami Dolphins have said all the right things. I hope the Cheetah keep your foot on the gas, pun intended. Keep your foot on the gas, man, because you have enough influence to help affect change. And as dads, yeah, we got to have the talk with our sons and our daughters. We got to have the talk. But damn it, if we don't do something and do something soon, our kids are going to have the talk with their kids. Our grandkids are going to have the talk with their kids. So at some point, the responsibility and the onus is on us to say enough is enough. I saw something that I think should be corrected, and the body cam captured it. Let's correct it. And if a man's got to lose his 27-year career because of it, if he is the sacrifice that needs to be made to help us take a step in the right direction, well, damn it, Officer Torres, ain't nobody forced you to be so damn aggressive. You could be saving somebody's life by taking Officer Torres and the culture that was shown through that exchange, taking that shit off the street. That's all I got with it, man. I'll give you final word before we hop to something a lot lighter in terms of the weight and gravity of it. But I'll give you last word on it, man. The Cheetah versus the Cops. In this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs, the cheetah there, the cat, was hunted by the dogs, the police. And I'll give you final word.
At least you didn't call them pigs. But I would say this, a couple things. One, maybe he had cats in the car, and maybe that cop was Haitian. Did we ever consider that?
Did we consider that as
Did we consider that to be the problem? Was he harboring cats?
Right.
Maybe the cop was hungry.
Extenuating circumstances. It was cats in there.
That's all I can say. I'm just going to say, police, y'all just be happy that he complied and didn't run, because he'd embarrass y'all trying to chase his ass. He was embarrassed when he tried to chase him.
And the vehicle would probably embarrass you.
Yeah.
But this then leads to, not only because I want it to be fair, your police friend articulates well that this situation is going to make another situation worse and more dangerous. Mm-hmm. The same thing is true for the next time someone is pulled over, right? These images are like, they're stamped in our brains. And in the law, there's this thing called the reasonable man. Well, you could reasonably, as a person of color being pulled over in a routine traffic stop, you can reasonably fear for your life now. Mm-hmm. Because you see things like this. So we'll see. I did want to get to a few more topics, man. Before we get out of here, we got to get on this one, man, because while we are talking about the cheetah, there was another situation that was captured, not the visual, but the audio. Uncle Shay Shay. Why must I be like that? Why must I chase the cat? Nothing but the dog in me. Uncle Shay Shay let the dog out unintentionally. A leak.
He was hacked. He was hacked by the cat. The cat in his house hacked the phone. That's what it is.
Michelle the cat. Michelle was the cat. according to the voices.
Ooh, yeah.
Uncle Shay Shay was chasing the cat. And let's just dive in, man. Uncle Shay Shay is a talker. Uncle Shay Shay sound like he
Are we
gotta get on the
surprised?
Peloton. He got to
Are
get
we
on the Peloton a
surprised?
little bit. He's out of shape. Michelle sounded like a star in this leaked audio, but there are people who have tried to create this conspiracy theory that it was not leaked. Uncle Shay Shay was just trying to combat the rumors that indeed Uncle Shay Shay likes men. What do you think, man? ESPN has decided not to discipline Uncle Shay Shay. Uncle Shay Shay initially said that he was happy.
Can you imagine being disciplined for getting
He
little
did
guts?
back and owned up to it. He said, "Man, I was horrified. I just threw my phone on the thing, man, I'm getting these calls on my other phone, and the fact that he's got two phones. There are a lot of examples in this. Why Uncle Shay Shay is the quintessential example of a dog, baby. Get him, Uncle Shay Shay. He got two phones. We start there. I got two phones. One with a man, one with a home. So the other phone is blowing up, and he tells a story about, man, they finally like, man, you on live. Do you think ESPN was right to leave private matters private? And do you think the conspiracy theorists are right that Uncle Shay Shay was just in the back faking the whole thing? Wasn't nothing going on. Uncle Shay Shay just want us to get off his back, pun intended, with all of these gay rumors. What say you, Big Flow Show?
You know what, man? I had always said, because, there was a lot of rumors about Odell Beckham, and he gave us a lot of reasons to believe that, he might be at a pride parade. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But I always had said, had it been me, that somehow I never did any behavior that's suspect, because I'm 50 years old and we're from an era where you don't mess around with you don't come nowhere near the borders and the edges.
You don't wear no messenger bag or no.
We don't have purses. I don't I don't walk around crazy like that, whatever. I'm not his style, right? You know what I'm saying? I still got t-shirts. I wear t-shirt with all my clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm different. I'm not like everybody else. But we don't play around. But if anyone had ever accused me of being gay, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I personally don't want to be identified that way, I would have leaked a sex tape because I want y'all to realize I'm good. So some could say that Shay Shay's been getting accused a little bit of being a little on the sweeter side, that he released a sex tape. But I start to, question my game. Like, damn, he got a lot to say. And I'm a talkative man. Am I not saying enough? He got lots to talk about.
I gotta go back to the drawing board. I gotta say some more stuff of the thing.
If there's any women watching today, is that too much talking, or am I not talking enough? Not to be putting my business on the street, but I don't have as much to say as he did. So am I the wrong one? Lean in, dude. Fellas, do y'all talk that? I don't really know if I need to know, but just put that question out there. Like,
I thought it was appropriate.
That was appropriate level of conversation.
Yeah, I thought it was. Depending on the parameters of the situation, who Michelle is, but it seemed appropriate amount of talk, and the lady seemed to be responding well to it. In the comments, you gotta go to something that was hilarious. That people are really aroused by hearing, someone else's sexual encounter. Now, if we find out that the whole time Uncle Shay Shay was just in the back making all of it up and it was a script, I'm gonna be upset. But it is interesting that the same device that can give you several million followers, the same device that can get you in the room to listen to a podcast, that same device can sure enough tell your business, boy. It can tell your business. Uncle Shay Shay, man, representing for all the guys. Now, they have, since they've been the podcast with him and Ocho Cinco, they do a late night podcast where they just kind of go in with some really interesting topics. They have since been approached about getting a Viagra sponsorship. So we got to leak some audio of something that's going to get us on.
I'm going to have you go first. I don't want the Humane Society to come calling us.
Right. I'm first.
You go first.
You going to let me go first. That's so nice of you. So kind. Yeah, I mean, go leak something, man. Make yourself
leak something,
crazy.
Man. Talking crazy. Now I got to start talking shit just in case I'm being recorded.
Right.
How boring would that be? Like, if I really just say shit. I gotta start talking that crazy this shit.
You gotta
Oh,
go in.
So I gotta apologize publicly to my wife. I start talking crazy shit. She, who the fuck are you? Hey, so
You
Shay
got
Shay, you would
inspired by Uncle
understand.
Shay.
She don't even know who Shay Shay is.
Inspired by Uncle Shay Shay, baby.
Yeah.
This episode has been inspired by Uncle Shay Shay. Shout out to Uncle Shay Shay, proving that 50 don't make you
He's 50.
any less aggressive in the bedroom. Go get him, Uncle Shay Shay.
Got him, Uncle Shay Shay.
We also got to get to a topic that now we went a heavier topic with the Dolphins and the cheetah being pulled over. We went with a lighter topic with Uncle Shay Shay. But now we gotta go a heavier topic again. Watching the game last night, inexplicably, I don't know why the Dolphins didn't try to score before half. I think it would have changed the whole game. They're going in to score after a pick six. Tua seems to be getting together. They are moving. He has to run for it, I think, on 4th and 2. And unfortunately, the way he tries to, and you couldn't slide because it was 4th and 2. You couldn't take the risk of the measurement going back to where the slide began, and therefore you don't get the first down. So Tua slides, and he is concussed yet again. And so I want to make sure, that we deal with this in a way that appreciates the gravity of it. Hold on one second. Let me make sure that I have it here. Let me go here. But we appreciate the gravity of it. Let's watch it. It looks like a routine play. All right. Looks like a routine play yet again. Looks like a routine play. And it's anything but a routine play yet again because the man.
Are you trying to share it? Okay.
I'm about to share. I'm sorry.
I got you. Okay.
Yep, I'm about to share it. My hand's a little slow.
No, I didn't see it in the.
Yeah, I'm gonna share it now. My bad, man. All right, so let's look here.
Active pass, steps up in the pocket, gonna take off and run, and he's hit there. He took a shot to the head on the tackle there, and he is shaken up. Oh, this is not good for Tua, who has a history of concussions.
I mean, it looked so harmless when it happened, but because there is any contact whatsoever with the area of his body above the shoulders, we knew that, that there's a chance that, again, he would be concussed, and indeed he was concussed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel as though this topic is the Groundhog Day. We talked about his family and his well-being and his future and what seems to be at this point somewhat imminent that he will have CTE at some point in his life because of the number of concussions within a very short amount of time. This is his third official NFL concussion, and we know that there were 4. We know that there were 4, but one right before our very eyes, right? They peed on our leg and told us it was raining because they said that wasn't a concussion. So 3 at a minimum, probably 4 really at a minimum, maybe 5. Is it time for Tua to hang it up?
I remember watching, I've been a boxing fan most of my life, more so in my youth than today. Roy Jones comes to mind as one of the greatest boxers of all time until he got knocked out. After he got knocked out the first time, I don't know if it was Tarver that got him. One of these guys got him. It seems like he had what I call a loose button. And it just seemed like he could just get knocked out easily, where before, obviously people never really got to Roy Jones's chin when he was younger. But then it just seemed like it was easy for him to get knocked out. And a lot of times people get concussions and you don't even know it. You know what I mean? Like they get hit and you can't really tell, do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Tua gets those concussions where the boxer looks like he's still fighting, arms locked in the air, hands getting those weird positions. His brain is really getting some damage. But then on the other side of the coin, he's done so well since the last concussion. It's been a long time because he's learned how not to do it. Now, you said he was in a situation where he just had to go for broke and he couldn't slide. He's trying to
in that play, because of the circumstantial football, it's 4th and 2. Right? I think if it's 3rd and 2, he probably slides and takes the risk that even if they move it back, it's going to be 4th and inches. He had earned the line to gain in terms of a first down. But because it was 4th and 2, he went to dive versus slide. It's just the way he goes about diving too is just like, I mean, his head is here. We tell young people, see what you hit. But as a ball carrier, you need to also see what is hitting you, because you can adjust accordingly based on where the defender is. It was a very inopportune time to close his eyes because his head and the neck region happened to go right on. And then the irony that it's DeMar Hamlin making the tackle.
That threw me off when you
field.
told me that pre-show. I didn't even realize it was DeMar Hamlin that hit him. I mean, there is some
who literally died on the field and came back.
And tried not to. He really tried not to hit him. I mean, he hit him with his arm, wrapping him up. He didn't drop his shoulder pad.
He did everything by the book. And just shows you how dangerous the game is. But in this episode of Cats and Dogs, here are 2 guys, one that died on the field, another one that had multiple concussions, that in their mind, they are just dog men who want to be on that field. We're wired a certain way not to run away from the contact, but here we are in what is probably, I think at some point the NFL, if nothing else, to avoid the liability, has to make him sit down. I don't know if it's forever, but I'm not certain he plays anymore this year, or the NFL is going to have a nightmare PR situation on their hands, and potentially in year plus 20, a nightmare lawsuit on their hands.
You know, he's got guaranteed loot, right?
Guaranteed bread. Shout out to his agent. He got guaranteed bread after the concussion.
It's hard for me as a competitor and realizing you're in your youth. You know, money's one thing, but you know, it's that game. He loves the game, right? He's out there and he did such a good job of protecting himself for the longest time. It's been look, I had him last year on my fantasy team. He didn't miss a game. He hasn't had a concussion over a season. He didn't have one last year. He had one ever since that real bad one he had where he was, throwing gang signs and stuff like that. He had that, and that was the middle of the season before. So it's like, man, you were doing so well, but then you got kissed, and now it's bad. So I think he's going to have an extended stop, but I predict he plays again. I predict
if he's all right. So that's the business end of it. Personal end of it. Tua is your nephew. Tua is your little brother. Tua is a cousin, and he comes to you for advice. You've seen the concussions. We're old enough to understand what that means for erratic behavior as we grow older, what that means for having an unstable familial situation. There's a lot of dudes who can't be in a normal relationship. They can't be parents to their kids because of the physical effects of CTE. They don't tell you have CTE until you're dead. But your behavior, and we know a lot of people that fit this category, guys that we played with, erratic behavior. Like such and such, they were like, what, he did what? Substance abuse, domestic violence, in and out of relationships, the inability to have an emotional connection with your children and the people that you love. These are all things that we know are the consequences of traumatic brain injury. And then when you multiply the number of times you had traumatic brain injury, it leads to posthumously, when you did, them calling it CTE.
STDs?
STDs.
Come on, man. Sound like incarcerated.
But it's then defined as CTEs. We know what it is. So your nephew is Tua. He's your cousin. He's your little brother. He's someone that you consider, that is family, and someone that you consider a loved one ask you, what should I do? You say what?
I'm gonna tell him to sit down, but I don't expect him to listen. He's grown. It's his life. He's not going to see things for what it is. He's young in his career. He's got a lot that he can accomplish. And I think he's going to go back to the fact that he protected himself for a whole season and a half until this 1 4th and 2 things. So now the question is going to become, and someone just put up there, you took it down, I think that, are we going to start putting sliding into the contract? So now that does game situation go out the window, and there's a guy like Tua who can provide you so much with his arm, and he can provide you some with his feet, but really his arm is doing so well. Do you get a guy like Tua and say, look, I know it was 4th and 2, slide anyhow? Or is the NFL going to overreact and they're going to start saying sliding head first is still sliding? Or they're going to stop saying the slide starts where you end up, or does the slide? And I actually have no problem with this in some regard, that if you let the guy slide and he gets the yards until you tag him. You know what I mean? Like, he slides down feet first, and then you gotta touch him. As soon as you touch him, it's down. Just like it used to be in NFL. Well, still is in NFL. If you go down, someone touches you, and then you're down.
Or I think they should do it where you're down exactly where your knee touches, not where you began the slide. That's
my thing is in the because I don't like what happened. I don't know what college game it was. Week 1, there was a college, not to be confused with week 0. Week 1, there was a college game, and there's this quarterback that was playing. Sorry, I can't remember the name of the team, and he's a late slider. Right,
the kid from Notre Dame did that. Riley,
did he slide late?
The Duke transfer. Yeah, he got hit by Texas A&M.
Yeah,
slid late.
And so the guy's a late slider, and because he slid late. Somebody had got a targeting call on him. So what I would like to see is, for the abundance of caution, if you can slide, and then the people just have to tag off on you, and you don't get penalized for it, people are going to be encouraged to slide earlier, less likely to get the hit, less of the bang bang plays, and it really accomplishes the same goal. Because if I slide and I'm 5 yards away from you, just exaggeration for emphasis. If I slide from 5 yards away from you, you didn't stop me, right? So you shouldn't get credit for being within 5 yards because I slid early. You got to still sprint full speed, but you're just not going to hit me, but you're going to give me the 2-hand little jolt, CPR, to touch him. I think you protect the quarterback, and you still don't make the Tua situation where he has to dive head first. The NFL does not want to lose Tua, and they don't want to lose the next Tua. They don't want to lose the next guy that's going to have a concussion issue. I think that would be good if you adjust the rule so that you do the hook slide, and as soon as someone tags you, now you're down.
Maybe, but I it's unfortunate when you see a young brother, right, in his 20s out there has sustained at least 3, probably 4 concussions, and we know where this leads. No question whatsoever, Big Flo. And I guess that's what I struggle with. As a Dolphin fan, I could imagine that they don't want to see Tua be demoted to a perpetual inactive list that just is like indefinitely. You don't want to see that because it hurts the prospects of your team winning this year. And other than the last drive of the half, they struggled running the ball. The speed wasn't getting to the Buffalo defense. Buffalo's defense rallied and tackled very well, so credit to them. But you saw what could be a really good team in Miami with Tua at the helm. I still have to put my arm around him if he's a family member, not a Dolphin fan, not someone worried about fantasy, not somebody worried about the football implications and the ripple effect of him not playing for the Dolphins. But someone who is a family member, I still have to put my arm around like, man, this ain't worth it.
Now, you're 48, 47?
47. Don't give me no extra.
47-year-old. You're still a young whippersnapper to me, boy. But
Similar
47
around your mouth. Why?
47-year-old Bobby Brown.
Mhm.
No questions asked. He's retired.
Retired.
27, 28-year-old Bobby Brown.
Let's keep playing.
Let's do
And
it.
this episode of Look, Cats and Dogs is like the 47-year-old version of me. I'm a cat. I think I'm cerebral. I'm chilling. The 27-year-old, I'm a dog. Line me up. When they told me, hey, yeah, man, you gotta get surgery on your wrist, throw all the ligaments. And then he said these words, depending on the outcome of the surgery, you might not play again. Hell with the surgery. I'm gonna figure out how to play with this torn wrist. And now I can't open doggone jars. Right? I'm definitely gonna have arthritis because I chose at 21 years old to not get the surgery. We're wired that way. But because there are 47-year-old executives that are working in the front office for Miami, because there are 50-plus-year-old people in the NFL front offices, because there are professionals in the respective medical staffs, and we know what is going to happen if this young man doesn't sit his ass down, I don't think we should even leave it up to him. He shouldn't be able to choose.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that is the situation. Does the NFL have to sit him down and say whatever? But they're not going to do that because there's a lot of bread involved. Everyone wants their money. Everyone wants to see Tua out there on the field. He's going to say, line me up, coach.
Line me up, coach. That's all we know because dogs operate like dogs. And I just wish for the best for the young brother. He will be in my prayers. We got to get to a few more topics. Then I'm going to let everybody get out of here. But in this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs, there is an underdog who is the reigning champ of college football this week. This particular underdog, I mean, this underdog did his thing, man. And shout out to him, even if you know hurts while doing it. This underdog.
Your volume got weird for me. I don't know if it's weird for everybody else.
Oh, my volume did?
No, it's back now.
It's back. And I'm back.
You know the worst part of this story that you're about to say?
What's that?
I was with about 14 NIU football players at Notre Dame talking shit. I never, ever talk shit about a game before the game. I've just never been that kind of guy. I ran my mouth.
You never talk shit. Hold on now.
About sports. I never say we're gonna whoop you.
Oh, okay. You talk shit about everything else. Okay.
Yeah, I don't say we're gonna beat the hell out of you. We're gonna do this. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't pre-talk at all. I've never been that way. Mm-hmm. I was flapjacking, posting on Facebook, getting in other people's business. Don't got no business out there, running my mouth, knowing I'm gonna go to the game with all these dudes. And they were
you had fun with it. I scheduled my own game during that time slot, which I never do. But I'm like, man, we play Northern Illinois. We good. Famous
I went to their tailgate. I ate their barbecue.
Yeah.
I drove up there with them. And then when they saw them dudes, I thought they was crying like Jesus just came back. And they were jumping on each other's back like a bunch of punks. And they wanted to be there.
Well, Cats and Dogs, let's show it. We got to show it. We'll go with this, man.
Don't show the field goal. I said, don't show it.
No, I ain't showing the field goal. That was too painful.
I'm so proud of our kids, the coaches, just everybody.
He's my quarterback.
They believe. And we came here and got it done.
You told your guys this week that you didn't need anyone to be a superhero or superhuman. They just needed to be their best. What kind of performances did you see out there?
They listened to what I said. I told them all week, we don't need.
I hate that our fight song is playing in the back.
And they was their best today, and we was able to get it done.
Where's this emotion?
This man got braces
coming from for you.
You know,
couldn't tell.
All these guys that been with our program, been through the ups and downs, and to continue to fight. You know, it's like
Shut up.
it's like they my kids. I'm happy for the adversity to push through.
Man, get you some
But, you know,
Carmex.
no matter the situation, I just couldn't be more proud.
Stop showing the losers. But next time.
No need to be sorry. Boneyard wins is what you call it when you all beat a top 5 opponent.
Hell of a boneyard.
We ain't never been in the top 5 before.
70,000 people in here that probably didn't believe. Why did you all believe?
We got a veteran team, a bunch of guys that have been through a lot of different things, and they work together. Like we.
Man, I hope we get pulled down for that. I don't want to see that type of shit.
It is what it is, man. So now
look, shout out, look, fam. I'm just be man enough. Shout out to Northern Illinois. That's a big win. I know Notre Dame has a bad habit of bringing in teams to home. We lost to Marshall. We lost to UConn in the past. We lost to South Florida. We lost to Nevada. We had a bad habit of bringing teams in there and giving them the chance to show the game of their life and build their program. So that the guys I went with played with that coach at Northern, so they all know him pretty well. So
why was he emotional? Won't you give the background of why he was emotional too?
I mean, he was on the hot seat. You know what I mean? They're looking at him. He doesn't have a good reputation for his demeanor. You know, and you know, he's had a couple tough losses. I know last year I watched the game again because my friend's there and there's some other kids I know on the team. So I was watching, you know, during the November when they play all the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games in the MAC. I watched a number of those games that they lost at the end. I can think of 2 to 3, I think, in that stretch where they should have won. Mm-hmm. So he was on the hot seat. So to come in there and beat number 5 when really they paid you $1.5 million, I still think some of the memes I got of those were hilarious. Paid you 1.4 or 1.5 million.
Rudy one is hilarious.
The Rudy one. I like when they showed the pimp coming into the barbecue, the fish shop probably to pick up his check. Give me my money and kicking the door in. So I think that's hilarious. But you know, he may have lost his job. You know what I mean? And he's got people saying a lot of crazy things to him. Got his old teammates doing whatever.
Shout out to him.
He's safe.
Northern Illinois Huskies. Husky is a dog. In this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs, we were the cat mutilated. We were roadkill for the whole world to see.
There's some Haitians on that team at Northern Illinois, and they ate the cat because we was out there. We were the cat. Felines. But you know, again, early enough, I predict Notre Dame's going to make the playoffs. I still predict it.
I'm going to go ahead and get off of that, man. That quarterback's not for me. And
let's stop for a second there. Let's take a left. What do you think about this whole thing, this Notre Dame trend everywhere of trying to bring in a so-called ready quarterback as opposed to developing your own? Do you think that's going to come back and bite colleges for a while? Because I mean,
I think it's biting us in the ass right now.
2 in a row.
Biting us in the ass. I thought Sam Hartman started off guns blazing, and maybe we'll see the reciprocal here because, you know, I'm not really feeling this dude transfer right now. So maybe he'll have an amazing second back half of the season, whereas Hartman had a terrible back half of last season. I think it is coming to bite us in the butt right now. I think that it is so transactional that when you are in the middle of a war and the bullets are flying, you don't really know what someone is made of because you haven't been in war with them before. And we needed plays to be made that just weren't made, and they haven't been made at the quarterback position for the last 2 weeks. But I think there's an inherent distrust that everyone who is not at the top of the depth chart, they have an inherent distrust that next year they're just going to go get the next shiny red object. So why develop? Why work hard? Why buy in? Why be supportive? Why do the extra when I know the next year you're just going to go get the next shiny red object?
How do we?
And so I think it has a way of, I think, deflating the foundation of what was college football. Bring people in, develop the hell out of them, treat them like family, Make sure they understand the culture. And when it's their turn, when the baton finally gets in their hand, you know what you have because you helped create it. So in terms of dog behavior, if I've trained the dog, I know what I got. People like, man, put that leash, put that dog on a leash. I don't need to. I know what kind of dog I got. He's trained. Right? Will your dog bite? Why do they always ask the owner that? Because they assume that the owner is trained.
There's a low price
If we keep on getting 1 year solutions, we don't know what kind of dog we have in the fight. So just my 2 cents before we move on. Because Notre Dame was not the only team that was in trouble last week. Notre Dame was the highest rated team to lose last week in an upset. Number 5 and went down. But they definitely weren't the most lopsided loss. Coach Prime's team got dominated. In this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs, we were told that Coach Prime was going to bring in extra baggage. He was going to bring in his Louis. We were led to believe that he was going to surround Shador with some dogs. And it looked like Nebraska took all the fight out of that dog and showed that there's still some felines over there in charge of protecting Shador. Embarrassed Colorado, despite the celebrity interaction that they have at Colorado. And every time a game happens, there's celebrity power connected to Colorado. I found it interesting that Shador, after the game, rhetorically asked, how many times did you see the other quarterback on the ground? And one could infer from that he was putting a lot of the spotlight on his offensive line as to why they got their ass kicked.
His dad did it too. His dad was throwing him under the bus. He's like, if I say something, you guys going to say I throw him under the bus. Because, you about to throw him under the bus.
You have been, and admittedly so,
critical.
Not critical. That's an understatement. You have been not only a member, but the president of the Coach Prime Hater Club. So
Unfair.
Maybe not the president. On the executive board of the Hater Club.
Appointed, or did I run for it? Where are we going with this?
At large position.
At large.
Yeah, at large.
Enlighten them. Last year.
So I'm gonna throw it to you, man. Coach Prime team gets dominated by Nebraska, which last year was one of the big wins. You get to say so. In this episode of Raining Cats and Dogs, are we seeing the revelation that indeed they just a bunch of cats that was dressed up and talking like and barking like dogs? Or was this an outlier situation?
I'm thinking that, like, okay, he's regressing now, right? So he came out strong last year. He beat TCU. We didn't realize TCU had lost absolutely everybody, so we gave him credit for that. Then he came out and he thumped Nebraska, which at the end of the year, that was still a quality win. Nebraska had a solid team. He thumped them. So to come back this year and get thumped by them when he made all the changes, he's done all these different things, he's been all this woofing. I said this when Deion moved to the Power 5. I did not think he was going to be successful. But the funny part was I didn't think he was going to be able to recruit. He's been able to on paper, he's been able to recruit. He's been able to get people. But what I underestimated was how poor of a job he was going to do coaching. And I think, and when I say this is his only successes he's had when he was at Jackson State was when he was thinking about Travis Hunter. Is it Travis?
Travis Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, Travis Hunter. Week 1, you're thinking Heisman, right? Front runner for Heisman. This dude played in the MEAC, in the SWAC. He played in the SWAC with that kind of talent. Shador Sanders, great quarterback. He played in the SWAC with that kind of talent. No offense to the SWAC, but we think we realize that they're the best of the best is not part of the SWAC of talent. And he went and he lost to the MEAC in the championship. Now, granted, he was distracted, but the first year he didn't win it all. The second year he did way better, did whatever. But, I'm not giving you credit as a good coach because you have Power 5 guys that you've gotten to go down to what in essence is the 1AA level and win some games. Now he's come out and North Dakota State, which is a very powerful, very strong tradition team, in the FCS.
Mm-hmm.
He beat them in a close game. Then you come back and you get your head whooped. Look, Deion has not done anything that makes me understand why people want to go there. He has all this hype. He's got a star-studded cast on the field, on the sidelines and in the stands, and everything's great. But show me the money, man. Show me where he's put guys in the league. Show me where guys have become All-American. What he's doing with Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter's already missing plays now because he's hurt. We're only in 2 games into the season. He's already getting banged up. You can't play a guy. There's a reason why no one's started both ways the whole season at the college level, and since Newt Rockne was coaching, because it's too much on the body. Now you're putting this poor kid out here, and you're going to get him killed. I just say, show me the benefits that Prime has done for somebody, not named Shedeur Sanders. Show me it. Show me where the positive been.
All the Sanders, be fair. Or
Shedeur broke his arm. Shiloh's the quarterback. I keep getting it wrong.
No, Shedeur is the quarterback. Shiloh,
okay.
Yeah,
But Shiloh broke his arm.
Shiloh is the safety.
So
look, I put you in center screen because again, you've been consistent. I didn't watch the game, and it sounds like they had moments where they just didn't take advantage of opportunities. And those type of games can get away from you quick, especially when you're on the road. I'm not willing to jump in the car yet and be a part of the Coach Prime hater club. I need to watch a game from beginning to end. I didn't love some of the decisions late in the game with North Dakota State when it came to clock management. And you can put that on the coaches because as a coach, you've got to think like a coach and not get wrapped up in the emotions of the moment. But I need to watch a game from beginning to end. And then I'll be able to say, are these dogs or are they just cats dressed up as dogs? Because the whole world is wearing Colorado Buffalo paraphernalia right now. The whole world is tuning into these games. The whole world has Coach Prime coming off of our tongue saying his name. The whole world has given Shedeur Sanders this respect that he is a almost certain first round, maybe even first quarterback to go off of the board. We shall see. I'll leave it there. We shall see. Let's go home with this, man. College football top 25, best game of the week. What would you say? We ain't gotta go through all of them because we're gonna get out of here now. But I'm trying not to divorce college football. When your alma mater, who's the number 5 team in the nation, got all this momentum and all of this talk about the playoff, loses to Northern Illinois University Huskies, other than seeing that black man and his emotional moment celebrate with his team, I didn't find any joy in that. So I'm trying hard to just stay locked in. Is there any game that sticks out to you, top 25 this week? Let the people know so they know what to tune into. Anything.
I like to see the matchups between the SEC and the Big Ten. So Wisconsin plays Alabama. That should be a good one. That should be something good to see. I do like these week 3 matchups because I look at the top 25 as bogus at this point, and you just kind of want to see. I see Notre Dame drop to number 19. They're going to bounce back against Purdue. At Purdue, I'd expect this to be a pretty lopsided thumping, but you never know. They got to figure that part out. Of course, Northwestern plays Eastern Illinois at damn near prime time out. Not sure whose idea that was, but everyone should be tuning in to watch that game. But those are the games that stick out to me as far as this weekend. So we don't really have a 1 versus 2 or anything like that, but I think it should be interesting. Luckily, I can watch the Alabama-Wisconsin game.
Awesome. And then let's go out with this, man. The Ball Hog Spotlight moment this week is simply we're going to just share this one. Do you think that Jay-Z and the powers that be were hating on Lil Wayne because they chose Kendrick Lamar to perform in the Super Bowl that will be held in New Orleans versus multi-Grammy award-winning, the veteran in the game, Lil Wayne? Do you think they got it wrong by going outside the New Orleans family and getting Kendrick Lamar, who has had an amazing last several months? Was that recency bias? Should they have respected the catalog and gone with Lil Wayne with the Super Bowl in New Orleans? What say you?
What's the first thing that people like to say in sports when they beat a team in their home turf?
When they beat a team in their home turf?
At the other team's home turf.
Get your hat, your coat, and leave?
No. If I beat you, so Northern Illinois comes to beat Notre Dame. I hate to have to use this example. What do people typically bark when they walk around the field?
You only as good as your last game?
This is my house.
This is my house. All right.
My house.
I didn't know where you was going with that. This is my house.
Kendrick Lamar won that battle, man. He got the song of the year right now.
Probably.
So every city is his city.
But he's not from New Orleans.
That's just my house.
It's the West Coast, man. We playing in New Orleans.
It's my house. I won. It's my house. So
the Hot Boys got together, reunited on a tour.
My house. My house. Don't let the game of Super Bowl have been in Canada. My house. Everybody's involved. My house. So Kendrick,
shout out to Kendrick.
It's walk Kendrick around with your 4'8" chest out.
Yeah, man.
Your house.
Yeah, he's running things, and ironically, we talked about like he really might have the song of the year, and it's a diss track. Lil Wayne and the powers that be in the Cash Money camp, I'm assuming they feel diss too. But people are pointing at Jay-Z. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, Jay-Z. Jay-Z get blamed for everything. Global warming, that's Jay-Z fault. Somebody don't pick up your recycling, that's Jay-Z fault. But people are blaming Jay-Z and saying that it's because Lil Wayne prides himself as being the real Mr. Carter, that Sean Carter, a.k.a. Jay-Z, is hating on the man. You ain't saying that. Good decision to bring in Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah, probably.
He's hot right now. Everybody's watching. This has been a great show, man. Raining cats and dogs. We'll say this because the Tyreek Hill video inspired us to have more meaningful conversation about our interaction with our amazing, I'll say amazing, most parts. On average, your police departments around the country are made up of amazing people that sacrifice everything, including their life, to protect and serve. Wasn't happy to see what was depicted on that video, but it's up to us to decide, where are we in the space of affecting change? Are we cats or dogs? Are we going to be aggressive and do the things we need to do to affect change? Are we going to go to the ballots and vote in November? Are we going to be an exemplary model of how to engage in the right conversation and engage with the conversation in that conversation with the right people, decision makers, legislators that can affect law? Or are we going to be cats, docile, waiting on someone else to change things? I hope that we will be the former and not the latter when it comes to affecting change. All right. The dogs are on the loose this week. Dark Knights 13U, Rawway, Seminoles, you on the clock. The dogs is out, baby.
Better keep them away from the Haitians.
Keep them away from.
It might become somebody's taco.
Get
you with a nice rice. Man,
you better stop, man. We're gonna get complaints now, man.
Come get us. Let me watch the dogs.
Right.
Pet sitting. Free pet sitting this weekend.
Come here, come do it.
Reggie Big Flows.
He said it.
Big Flows Pet Emporium and Barbecue joint. Whatever you want.
All right. You at least have a wall between the two, right? The pet side and the
free flowing. We're gonna cross business.
Open office. It's gonna be open
floor plan. Open floor plan. Let's go.
Well, we are going to wish you all well. Make sure you have a great weekend. But before we do, we ask you humbly, it won't cost you a single penny. Be a dog when it comes to helping us out. Like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. Won't cost you a thing. You'll be doing a world of favor for us. The Big Flow Show from the Middle Coast was in the building today, doing what he does and doing it very well. Two businessmen getting together to discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. That is the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. I am your boy, B Brown ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration, a.k.a. Breezy, a.k.a. the Councilman, a.k.a. Coach. This has been our labor of love, another episode of the Ball Hog Sports Talk. This one is Raining Cats and Dogs. And with that, with no further ado, boys and girls, be blessed this weekend, y'all. We is out. Peace.